Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel of My Life and Our World. My name is Tatiana, for those of you who do not know me. But hello, this is a crazy video that I'm making just because I never expected when I made my last video regarding COVID-19 and an update on how it was affecting my life, that I would ever be making a video in July of this year, and still be talking about it. This video is really mostly for me just so that I can have documentation of just one of the craziest years in human history in a while, where the entire world is being affected by a singular thing. It's not very often that that happens, and for it to happen at the start of a new decade when everyone wanted to start new hobbies and chapters in their life, everything really got disrupted by this virus affecting all of us all over the world. As you guys can tell by the title, this is really just going to be an update on a few things that I spoke about in my first video, and that was in the middle of March or the end of March. And I'm also just going to be talking about like my general feelings, because I feel like sometimes it's just good to sit down and just talk about what you're going through, how you're feeling. I guess we will go ahead and jump into this video. So first off, I wanted to talk about just like my overall feelings. They've been all over the place, but it has been very, very difficult to see this pandemic become a political event for a lot of people, and a lot of people have brought in politics and religion into the situation, and it's hard to see so many differentiating opinions. I don't even know if that's how you say it. Different opinions, that's what I'm trying to say. Just because it's like, I would have hoped that something like this would bring people together with a common goal and a common perspective and a common, just hope that we could get through this and move on. And that's not really what it's become. It's just like this whirlwind of different things coming at you from all directions. I mean, I've had to take a break from social media multiple times during this quarantine period, in Orlando, Florida. For those of you who don't know, that's where I live. I live in Orlando, Florida, and right now it is the middle of July. We are really, really being affected by the cases of COVID-19. If you live out of state, or you live in another country, or you live in Florida, I feel like it's pretty well-known knowledge now that Florida's kind of become the new epicenter for this pandemic. It used to be New York, and somehow Florida has become the new number one for positive cases, at least the rate at which we're increasing. We don't have the most cases out of the United States because you have to take into account our population, but the rate at which we are increasing our cases is not good. And to live here, it's been pretty interesting to see people from other countries and other states take the virus so much more seriously than our state, and I think it really does contribute to why our cases are as high as they are. And I think that there's just a lack of understanding, a lack of respect, a lack of care, that a lot of citizens in our state have been showing, and it's really disappointing. It's really embarrassing, and it sucks because a lot of different countries and a lot of different states in the United States have been going back to normal. They have been opening up movie theaters and theme parks and things like that, and it's actually safe to go. While in Orlando, we are opening theme parks for some reason, and we are going to be reopening schools for some reason, and yet our cases have not stopped increasing. I don't know when we're going to peak. Some people say it's going to be at the end of July. Some people say they don't know. We have a lot, obviously every state does, a lot of colleges, but specifically in Orlando, UCF being such a big school, and where I go to Rollins right now, it is so difficult seeing the school systems trying to find us a decision that's going to satisfy as many people as possible, but it really isn't possible to make every person happy, every parent happy, every student happy. And all you can do is just really offer personal choice. But I feel so bad for teachers during this time, especially in Florida, especially in Orlando, who are being forced to teach in classrooms at schools with students who may or may not care about protecting themselves and their families and their teachers. And it's a huge risk. I don't know. My opinions are like, they've stayed pretty much the same throughout this entire pandemic and through this quarantine, but it has been so interesting to see people change their opinions and revert to conspiracy theories and revert to coming up with these excuses for why they don't want to wear a mask and they want to go out and they want to live their life. You know, you only live once, but it's affecting so many more people than just yourself. And it's so difficult to just see people be selfish. I mean, that's really how I see it. I live with my boyfriend's family right now, and me being able to thankfully see my family. We've all kind of been quarantined together throughout this whole quarantine. I've been seeing my boyfriend's family and my own family because they live close, and that's really all that I've been trying to see. But it's like, I see so many people on social media going out to clubs, going out to their own parties, throwing parties for themselves. And those are the type of things where it's just like, when people think of what's going on in Florida, it's most of the time true. Like, people are not taking it seriously. And personally, I don't think that our governor is doing all that he can. I think that there's not as much transparency as there should be. And thankfully, in Orlando and in Orange County, we have amazing mayors who are stepping up to the plate and really taking charge and trying to implement as many policies as they can to help us navigate this whole situation. So that was kind of a mix of my overall feelings and the cases. I think that the last time that I checked, we had over 15,000 cases the other day, and that was a new record for Florida, and it is not good. When we hit 8,000 cases a couple weeks ago in one day, that was really scary. And to see that we've almost doubled that, I don't know what more evidence our leaders and our government need to see that things are not working the way that we are. And I understand our economy needs to get back to some type of normality, but I don't know how soon is too soon. So that's my opinion on that. In terms of a job, I've been very fortunate to still have my internship. I spoke about this in my last video. I'm still working every single week for 4 out of 5 days, Monday through Thursday. I'm so blessed. Like, you have no idea how many of my friends have been in and out of jobs, applying for unemployment, and I've been very fortunate to not have to go through that. I've been working from home, so I work, from my bed or from a desk or from the couch, wherever I can get my work done. And I try to take breaks, obviously feed myself, do some workouts once in a while, but it's really hard working from home. I'm a very social person. I like to socialize with people and collaborate with people and just have time for like a human connection, and to not have that is very odd. It definitely took a toll on my mental and physical state the first 2 months that we were working from home and not having school. And I realized that I wasn't depressed or anything, but I was just having so much anxiety and I was very fatigued and I just did not have a lot of energy. And so I thankfully started changing things in my diet around. I started making priorities for myself throughout the week for getting out of my apartment and visiting my mom and dad and, going in their pool and just doing things that were not just sitting on a couch. I also started working out a lot more. Yay. I am going to be posting a video soon about that whole journey for me, from I want to say the beginning of May until now, present day, and it's still going. I have been working out a lot more, and I have been just drinking a lot more water, changing things in my diet. I've been doing it with my mom and a bunch of other girls, doing Zumba classes and boot camp classes, and that has dramatically changed my attitude. I have lost some weight and gotten some toning, but it is just one factor that has helped me get back to normal. So I definitely advise you, if you feel like you're going through the same thing. I know working out seems like a very cliche answer, but just giving back to your body, that's how I see it. Try to put some time in for some self-care, writing in a journal, taking count of how much water you're drinking in a day, trying to make small adjustments to your diet and slowly increasing those changes. And find a group of women, group of men, group of friends that will motivate you to live a healthier lifestyle, because combining fitness with social aspects and socializing with friends and family is like the best combo, because you have a good time and you're doing something that's good for your body, but you also know it's for like the betterment of your mental and physical state. So definitely do that. But yeah, it's been very odd working from home, and but I'm very thankful that I'm able to do that. Not everyone's job is able to work from a desk. So I have been just praying for the people that have been trying to find jobs and haven't succeeded, or people that haven't gotten their unemployment money yet, because it's been a very messy process, especially in Florida. But school is the next thing that I wanted to talk about. It's very weird that the summer is, it's not over, but it's coming to a close in like the next month or two for me. And we're having to decide if we want to stay in school, like in person, or if we want to do virtual school. For my school specifically at Rollins, virtual doesn't necessarily mean virtual, where like the classes are pre-recorded or like you don't interact with your professor or classmates. Virtual for Rollins, specifically Crummer Business School, which is where I will be because I'm in the process of getting my MBA. They say, when they say virtual, they mean like WebEx. So if you guys are familiar with Zoom or WebEx, it just basically means that I will be logging on through my computer with the camera, and I will be able to see my classmates and see my professor and learn in real time. So honestly, I have already spoken with my family and my boyfriend, because this is not just a decision for me, this is a decision for everyone that I interact with, because me going back to classes means that I'm putting myself at risk, and it means that every single day that I come home, everyone that I interact with is also being put at risk. And I needed to weigh the pros and cons of going back to class. And so I have decided that for this fall semester, which is from September to December, I will not be doing in-person classes, and I instead will be doing WebEx classes. That was a decision that I came to because I just don't think that me driving, 35, 40 minutes to my classes, and then staying there for, 3.5 hours, however much it is, with students that I'm not positive they are taking the necessary precautions to protect themselves and me, that I just don't think it's worth the risk. The other aspect is that I am still working from home, and I don't think that I will be going back into my office for my internship until maybe January. I have no idea. It is all up in the air, but Personally, I don't see myself going back in the office for this fall season. And if I'm not going into the office, to me, it doesn't make sense to go into the classroom. If I was already driving 40 minutes away and I was already out and I was already putting myself at risk, then I don't think that it would have been an issue. But because the cases have not slowed down, Florida is still doing really bad in terms of COVID-19 cases. I don't think that it is a smart decision for myself or my family or for my boyfriend for me to put myself at risk when I'm getting the same quality education that I would be able to get in person versus WebEx. So that is what's going on with school. I'm sure that a lot of other students are going to have to decide for themselves what's going to be best for them. I think it's hard because I think a lot of kids are like, I want to go to campus and I want to see my friends and I want to go out to the parties and I want to have that college experience. Um, and so they're probably going to go back to campus. But this is where I get nervous because I think that if we do peak at the end of July or in August, I think that when schools go back to school and kids, not only college kids, but elementary kids, middle school kids, high school kids go back to school, I think we're going to see an increase in positive cases again in Florida, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. And I think that there's going to be some people to blame for that, not only personally, but on leadership boards. So, personally, I think just make sure that you are thinking things through. Make sure that you are talking to the people that you're going to be interacting with. If you are living in an apartment with a bunch of friends, if you're living with your family, you're living with your grandparents, hopefully not, that you are including them in that conversation because it does affect everyone. Sometimes it doesn't matter how careful you are, you can still get it. There are plenty of doctors and nurses that are protecting themselves to the utmost degree and they are still testing positive. So just make sure that you are being smart with those conversations. All right, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about was my abroad trip. I know that this was a topic of conversation for my last video. I had some people commenting on like much previous videos when I got accepted into my MBA program about me talking about my abroad trip to Poland that was supposed to happen in March, spring break time. And people were like, I bet that didn't happen or whatever. And it's funny because if you watch my previous video, you would know I definitely did not go on that trip. Everything happens for a reason though, and I definitely was not meant to go. It definitely would have put me at risk, and it would have been a process to get back into the States at that time. So I'm very thankful that Rollins did make the quick decision to cancel that trip, even though I was heartbroken that I was not able to go. I was already packed. It was literally almost a full 24 hours before we were about to leave for the trip that I found out. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, that trip definitely did not happen, and thankfully, after many emotional meetings with the people at my school, they decided that because COVID-19 was not getting better as fast as they expected, that it was not fair for the students who were graduating or the students that were in the 3-2 program like I was going in to start their MBA classes. It wasn't fair for them to still have to complete a study abroad with such short time to get it completed. So originally they were wanting me to do a study abroad at the end of the summer, so like right now at the end of the summer, during winter break, over next spring break, or at the end of the summer. And it was very frustrating for me because those were not options that I wanted to take. I had gotten a scholarship to go to the Poland trip. I had done a lot of work helping with my professors plan that trip, pick the restaurants, pick the sites, advertise for it, get people to apply for it. And I was not in the mood emotionally, physically, mentally to want to go on another study abroad trip during a pandemic. So After a couple months, they decided to waive that. So I was very lucky. I do not have to complete a study abroad, which is unfortunate. I really, really wanted to go to Poland, but I'm gonna go to Poland another time, and hopefully I can go with Tyler because my boyfriend is fully Polish and he's never been to Poland, and he is not very connected or familiar with the culture there. So he was very sad that he could not go. And then when it got canceled, we were like, you know what? This is a sign. We just need to go together in the future and take a trip to Poland and enjoy that memory together. So, yeah, I don't know what else there is for me to talk about. I'm sorry that this video is really long already, but I just wanted to cover all of the bases. And if any of you guys are wondering what it's like in Florida right now, if you don't live here, it is very weird. It's not like there's a sense of emergency. It's almost the opposite. It's like people are sick of what's going on and they're over it and they're ready to get back to their normal lives, and they don't want to wear masks, and they are, I think everyone's kind of at war with themselves about their personal opinions, because it is freaking hard being home all the time and not being able to see your friends because you don't know where they've been, you don't know where their priorities are, and almost like screening everyone. But it's necessary because this is a matter of life and death for some people, and it's a matter of protecting you and your loved ones. So I just encourage you all to take a breath. I know this is a hard time for so many people, and I think that there are a lot of people around the world that are starting to get back to normal and enjoy their lives a bit more. But there are still many of us, including me and including the people in Florida, who are still very much being affected by COVID-19, and I just hope that things get better eventually and that people really wake up and realize that it's not a conspiracy theory. People are really losing their lives over this, and people are losing loved ones over something that, if we all work together, we could really, really help end this quicker rather than later. But I hope you all have a great day. I hope you are all staying safe. Please wear your mask outside and in public. Stay 6 feet apart if you can. And just make sure to not be selfish and think about others during this crazy, crazy time. So I will see you in my next video, which will hopefully be going up soon. And if there's any questions that you have for me regarding anything about school, life, jobs, advice, friendship, I mean, if you just want to talk, leave it down in the comments, or you can follow me on Instagram at Tatiana Fagan, and I will be happy to connect with you. So bye, have a nice day.